Curious to know that when you first landed to UK, what was the first thought you had?
Oh, interesting. So the first time I landed to UK, the first thought that I had was, this is so big, because I landed at one of the biggest airports in the world.
So hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So there is something special because today we are going to discuss about a story of an Indian optometrist who studied in India and now he is living and working as a registered optometrist in UK. So joining me, Mr. Hussain is going to share his journey, challenges, and how you can become a registered optometrist in UK. So if we are slightly curious about this topic, then I would say you should stick around for the full video because this video is going to be practical and inspirational both. So let's dive in. Great. So basically, I'm really excited about the journey. So, like, how was your academics back in India? Like the bachelor's and further education which you pursued, and
Yeah.
do you really had the plan of shifting to another country and started as a new career?
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I don't want to make this video about me. I'll keep it brief because obviously it's been a long journey, according to me at least. But
Yeah, definitely.
I started my bachelor's in 2012 with Bharati Vidyapeeth School of
Yes.
Optometry, and initially it was very good. The teachers are really amazing in Bharati Vidyapeeth. They not only teach you the theory part, but they also tell you about how optometry life is and what are they doing in their different careers and stuff like that. So they're very open in terms of discussing that. So it really motivated me initially to
Mhm.
pursue. And by the time I reached in third year, I had a good amount of knowledge that, okay, this is where I need to go for, because all the core subjects and everything started opening up for me. Then obviously with the teacher's advice, I went for my internship and I did a part internship. I did hospital
Hmm.
and optical. So it was divided. I did it in Pune. So that was
Yeah.
in Asian Eye Hospital and Bapat Optics. And that was good as well. I got good practical exposure as well. And then at the end of it, I decided to do a post-graduation course. So like a post-graduation fellowship in NV Prasad Eye Institute, because I started searching for which is the best institute for clinical skills. And clinical skills is something that inside me, I was like passionate about. So I wanted to kind of learn how to like diagnose stuff and look at all the different procedures. And I no better place than a place like
LVPI.
LVPI. And yeah, so that was I would say that was like a turning point in my life once I did my fellowship. Then I decided to come back to Pune, and obviously there was no plans of going abroad. I had my family support and work-life balance and all that stuff was quite good.
Hmm.
And I decided to join the same hospital that was Asian Eye Hospital where I did my internship. And it was amazing. They have many other specialties that they do. They do retina, they do LASIK, they do cornea as well, they do mini scleral lenses as well, all that stuff, RGP. They do everything. So it was also ranked one of the best hospitals in Maharashtra, and yeah, and also in the top 10 in India.
Hmm.
So that was really good. And after that, I started thinking that, okay, my life is good, but the turning point came so there's a company called Specsavers. Now it's quite popular. And post COVID, they started, sending emails, not only me but other people as well, about what it is, how to what is it in the UK, how things are and stuff like that. So that kind of intrigued me into exploring that part of optometry as well. So yeah, I said that, okay, let's see what it has to offer me first. So I did not jump into it right away. Side by side, I started doing the application process. And it was quite long because I did not have any mentor who was guiding me to do this. I was doing this on my own. I was learning at every step of the way. सो वो हिंदी में बोलते हैं ना कि मैं फूक फूक के कदम चल रहा था, एक
True.
एक कदम फूक फूक के चल रहा था कि यू नो आई डेंट वांट टू मेक एनी मिस्टेक विच वुड यू नो not allow me to progress. So I was doing everything very, very um, um, meticulously, and that is what I observed with this process as well. Like any country that you go, be it UK, USA, Canada, Australia, the processes are very meticulous, very regulated. So you have to kind of abide by the rules at every step. Yeah, that journey was, also quite challenging. It was quite new. I thought I was a good optometrist before in India because I had so much exposure and stuff like that. But once you go out, you realize that, oh, wait a second, there is more to this, there is a lot more to you being responsible, you being legally abiding professional. So we talk about legally abiding citizen, right?
Yeah.
But we also have to be a legally abiding professional.
Perfect. So, like, I'm a bit interested in your, transition phase. Like, as you mentioned that
Yeah,
you are in your Asian Eye Hospital, which is one of the best,
yeah,
right? So,
yeah,
how was the shift? Like, you mentioned about the spec savers reaching out to the optometrist for the
yeah,
vacation. So, tell
yeah,
us,
yeah,
tell us a bit about that, phase. Like, how was it and how
yeah,
they approached you and what was the
yeah.
expectation and that stuff.
Yeah. So Specsavers, they have their international recruitment network. So they usually post something or they send you an email. And that is true for different countries as well.
Okay.
So what they do is obviously one of the things that I had is I had a LinkedIn profile.
Hmm.
So a
Yeah.
LinkedIn profile is basically your CV, a short, form of your CV, So when someone looks at your LinkedIn profile, they know that, this is what you're doing, and this is kind of, you can't send your CV to everyone in the world, right? You don't have those, you don't have the capacity. So the next best thing is having a LinkedIn profile,
Good thing,
which,
bro.
everyone should have, and that's how they kind of approached me. And so what they said was, okay, you need to apply to the GOC first. Then we can, take you on board with our process. So there are two different processes that go on parallelly. One is the recruitment process that happens through Specsavers
Yeah.
or any other company. And the second is the GOC process, which GOC is the regulatory body in the UK, and they decide whether you are eligible to be registered as an optometrist or not. So that's the process that I started. Both I started parallelly, but the GOC one was the most important one. Yeah, so in the GOC process, there are certain prerequisites first. So you have to have English language competency, you have to have registration with a council in India, you also have to have a degree, so 3 years degree. You should have all your transcripts and your mark sheets and your degree certificate. You should have recommendation letters from wherever you
Okay.
worked, like experience letters and recommendation letters.
Hmm.
And you should also have like a good standing certificate from the council saying that you don't have anything, against you. So all these prerequisites are there. Then you can start applying. So there's a form that you apply for, and in that form there's a checklist that you have to fill. And that form took me about a month to fill. Actually, it's a long form. It actually you put everything you have to put in detail, your whole journey, like your studies, curriculum, all that stuff. You have to put that in form. And once you fill that form, you are in the stage one of the GOC. So GOC has three stages. Stage one is, analysis. Second stage is assessment, and third stage is interview and outcome. So first stage, they kind of take everything, like all the documents and everything like that. Second stage, they analyze the documents to see if it is comparing to their standards or not. And the third stage is they call you for an interview to know more about you as a person and what you're doing. Are you continuously in this field and what kind of experience you have? That lasts for about an hour. And then they give you an outcome letter. So the outcome, and there are usually three outcome types of outcome letters that you get. So the first is you need to do pre-registration. So you need to do the scheme of registration work under supervision in order to work independently here. Okay, the second outcome letter is you're good. There are some things that you need to do. So there will be like trailing competencies for about 6 months. You do that and you'll be done. And the third is that you cannot go directly into pre-registration. You have to do some adaptive courses. So you need to do some courses like postgraduate courses recognized by any UK university, and then you can go into pre-registration. Yeah. So I was in the first one that go directly into the pre-registration course. Yeah.
The first point is comparatively better as compared to the second and the third uh, results.
Yeah. Second is also better because second is you're doing only trailing competencies, so it takes a short time for you to do it. So there was an optometrist with me, not with me. Like when I started working, I found out he
Hmm.
was like 15 years into experience. He was from a different European country, so he was in the second one. So he was just doing 6 months trailing competencies, like some of the things could be like pediatric patients or something like that they want us to see. And he did it in 6 months. Yeah. And then you have the final examination, which is OSCE, where, they kind of do like a practical exam of whatever you have learned during the pre-registration. So then you kind of go into the registrar.
Perfect, perfect. So parallelly, you have started applying for the tax savers, like doing the
Yeah.
thing done, and also on the
Yeah.
other hand, you are preparing for the GOC and the pre-reg preparation.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
maybe
Yeah.
like, what was your experiencing as a pre-registered optometrist? Like, how was your day in that
Yeah.
duration? What all tasks
Yeah.
we are expected to do as compared to India? Because in India, it's a bit different, I assume.
Yeah. That's right. So yeah, it's quite different from the Indian practice. What I would say is when you are choosing your pre-registration posting or wherever it is, make sure it's a complete place. So there are small practices, there are big practices, there are practices that are located in better areas, that are practices that are located far away. So do your background research about how the practice is. So I was very fortunate to have my pre-registration one of the biggest practices in the UK. So even in Specsavers, there are different practices, right? So you have to do your background research and choose a practice that will give you a all-round exposure of how the UK. So you have it's basically everything in optometry. So from dispensing to testing to contact lenses, binocular vision, all these aspects. So it's important that that practice is getting a good flow of patients or variety of patients that you will be able to see, be it dispensing high prescriptions or doing multifocal lenses, contact lenses, or looking at different age-related diseases in the patients. So, fortunately, I did do my research with the recruitment manager. So I asked them that, okay, what are the places that you are offering me? And according to that, I chose the place that had the highest volume. So you will understand once you see the Google reviews and stuff like that, you'll understand which place has highest rank. They have their own website as well. Each practice has their own website. And you can also speak to the directors about whether they do pre-registration training or not, because they should have certain license as well. So that is also important. They should have a sponsor license in place to be able to take you on board. So you don't want to go in that legal complication. So that is really important. Once you do that, then it becomes easier for you to get the patients to actually practice all the skills that you have.
So basically, the one process, let's assume a student in India or a fresh
Yeah,
optometrist, young optometrist need to pursue their career in UK. So
yeah.
option one would be to approach GOC and the respected
Uh-huh.
and start
Mhm.
applying. This is option one, right? Do we have any
Yeah,
other
yeah.
apart from this thing, or this is the only way we can enter and be an optometrist in UK?
No, there are other options. So,
Okay.
Well, in terms of options, it's basically people who have done it before me or have done
Mhm.
it during me, and some options are better, some options are not so good that I wouldn't recommend.
Okay.
So one option is the one that I just explained, that you just kind of go into the GOC first. The
Yeah.
second option is also a good option. It is doing a master's degree in the UK first. So applying
Okay.
for a master's degree in optometry, not in any other field, will give you that stepping stone of understanding how the UK curriculum is, what are the subjects, and what are the different competencies that they look for. During that master's degree, you learn a lot. You'll be doing patients as well. So it has a clinic and everything. So you get a very good exposure. And once you come out of that master's, you'll be a bit more confident in the UK scenario to kind of approach, because also you'll start networking here as well. So you'll start understanding, which practice I need to go for. You'll also have some time to understand, because the one that I took, you have a time limit. So it's about 2 years. In that, you have to complete the pre-registration. So if you don't get enough patients or you don't pass the exams in time, you have to start it again, all over again. So
Okay.
it was a bit of it's a little bit stressful
Mhm.
if you go directly into the pre-registration without any background knowledge, because in the masters also they'll give you a lot of resources,
Mhm.
a lot of study material, which will help you in your pre-registration year as well.
Yeah.
So they support you.
Mhm.
So it's good for freshers and students who have a little bit experience in India, but not so much,
Mhm.
and they don't want to take some chances. Then they can do the second, which I feel is a better option.
Doing a master in
Yeah,
UK.
yeah. Yeah, and the other option is not so good option, which people have done. So there is something called as optical assistant over here, right?
Mhm.
A lot of these, so whenever any kind of recruiter or something approaches you, indirectly they're working for the company or for the
Yeah.
for the owner, right?
Yeah.
And basically what they do is that, okay, you work as an optical assistant and then we'll start the process. So that's how it's easier for them to bring you like that, because also you're better qualified. You're an optom, right? So if you're an
Yeah.
optometrist and you apply for an optical assistant, although it's not valid in that country, you are actually going one level down. So it's going
Mhm.
to take longer for you to go into the optometry process, because now the GOC will look at you like, why did you apply for optical assistant,
Okay.
you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I would say that is a longer process. Initially, it might appear short process because you go faster. But then once you're working as an optical, the job responsibilities are very different. It's very finely demarcated. Okay, optical assistant is there, and then there is dispensing optician, and then there is optometrist. So all these three have specific tasks. And usually, optical assistant is done by people who have done some apprenticeship in, clinics or something like that, and they want to go and work and become a dispensing optician or become an optometrist. And the process is quite longer for them because they don't have a degree in optometry. So
Yeah.
it's as if you've not done a degree and you're coming directly. And for them it's good because they get you faster, and they also don't have to pay so much in
Mhm.
terms of the legal aspect and stuff like that as well. So I wouldn't recommend that. Some people have done it and they are kind of regretting that decision because it's taking them a
Longer
longer
time.
time to go
Mhm.
into pre-registration and
Mhm.
do that kind of stuff. So yeah, these are the few ways where a lot of people try to start working.
Perfect. Maybe the third
Yeah.
option is like maybe shortcut to entry into the country and then do a
Correct.
lot.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it is
because
a shortcut. It is a shortcut. Yeah,
as you
yeah.
mentioned
But
in
then
your
you're spoiling your image because
exactly.
if you worked as an optometrist, my advice would be always, it's about image nowadays, right? So
Yes,
the
yes.
image that you portray in society or everywhere, that's what people are going to look at you and put you in that category. So you don't put yourself in a category that you're
Not
basically not.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, so maybe it may take some time. Go from a valid sources. Maybe if you can pursue a master,
Yes,
apply for
yes.
PhD. So master's point, like how long it is and the duration wise, and what are the expected outcomes after doing masters in UK?
So that's a really good question. Masters is a good option because it depends on the university that you are in. So it ranges from about 1 year to 2 years, depending on what university you're in. And in the masters, you are actually able to choose what kind of courses you want to do. So there are different exams also you can give within the masters, which will help you in your career. So there's a professional certificate of retina, professional certificate of glaucoma, which you can specialize in within your masters. And
Within
this takes a long, yeah, yeah, this takes a long time if you are working, because working side by side and studying,
hmm.
it's not easy. It sounds very easy. People say that, we'll start like how in India we have these
Being-
UPSC exams and stuff like that. People say, oh, we work but it's not easy because you are doing everything yourself. You're
hmm.
staying by yourself. You're doing all the housework.
Yeah.
You're taking care of yourself as well. So you need that bit of time, to kind of, study and, kind of explore, talk to different people, meet different people, travel to different areas. So I would say that doing a master's will kind of open up. So in the master's as well, not everyone does the same courses. You choose what you want to do. Some people do the professional certificate in pediatrics in the master's because now because the reason you're in a master's is because you want to specialize in something, right? So they actually consider you that you have a degree, but in the master's they kind of allow you to explore
Specialize.
other aspects of. So it depends on the university and how they are tied to the different clinics where you can choose. So the popular universities is UCL University and Cardiff University is there. There is University of East Anglia as well. So these are the few universities that are very good.
Hmm.
And you can go to the on the website, and all the information is given what kind of specialization you're interested in, and they can incorporate that within the master's degree. So in the master's degree, also they give you some exams which are very similar to the pre-registration exams. So in terms of the style of assessing and stuff like that, is very different from how we are assessed in India. It's a little bit more focused to a certain subject. So that exposure is also very good because you've already done it.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah,
So maybe after doing a 1 or 2 year of master, again we
yeah.
do registration with the GOC, or like it is by default done throughout the process, and then we can practice directly as an optometrist. Like what about after graduating from that university?
So after graduating, yes, you have to do pre-registration again
Again,
because
yeah,
yes, you have to do it. But this time it will be easier. You can finish
easier
it faster.
because
Yeah,
we know
you'll
the
finish it faster. Yeah. So normally, if pre-registration would take 2 years to complete, you would be
hmm,
able to do it faster because you have that prior knowledge of how to tackle the different stages of pre-registration. And
hmm,
also, you would have the certificates as well, the course certificates that you've done, which will help you in your professional journey as well, in terms of getting a good place to practice, in terms of doing what you're interested in doing,
perfect.
because once you come directly, you are just kind of searching like, okay, this is how it is. This is what
Hmm,
the practice is looking for more, and then you have to kind of go into that first. After that, you have to go into what you were interested in. So masters give you that launch pad, like opportunity to kind of go to the next step, taking your interests into account as well. So, for
perfect. So
example, someone interested in contact lenses, they can incorporate that in their masters and then also choose a placement
place to work.
accordingly. Yeah, yeah.
This makes much more sense. Like someone has to
Yes.
interest in glaucoma, they can do
Yeah,
masters, do some glaucoma courses, and then eventually
yeah.
they can practice somewhere. They can be glaucoma experts, something like that. So it's a more
Correct, correct, correct.
way
Yeah,
to do
yeah,
it.
yeah. Yeah, that's a good point because that will also, in optometrists as well, like qualified optometrists, there are different categories. So in so there's a band, right? So there's band 4. Okay, band 4 is trainee optometrist. Okay, then there is band 6, which is qualified optometrist. Then there is band 7, which is specialist optometrist. So you are specialized in that. And then you are band 8, where there is a head optometrist. So you get paid according to what band you are in and what kind of place you are allowed to work in. Because every job description will have, we are looking for a band 7 optometrist. We are looking for a band 8 optometrist. So then immediately you are in that category. Otherwise, you have to work towards it.
Like listening your story and the journey, it sound maybe easy, but it must be
Yeah,
difficult, and there must be some challenges or some mistake which you may have made, because as you said
yeah,
that you have done all the process independently without any
yeah,
mentorship. So like what
yeah.
were your major mistake which anyone can avoid?
Yeah. So one of the mistakes that I made, that I presumed that I would complete it in a certain time.
Okay.
So I had presumed that okay, I will be like it will be done in 1 year or something like that. But once you go into it,
Yeah.
because I had directly come into the country, I had not researched about different courses that you can do as well. It can be a little bit more stressful because in your head you're like, why is it taking longer than I'm expecting it to take? Because obviously you have to give the exam, you have to pass the stages. So one of the things that I regret is maybe I should have managed the time a little bit more in a better way by doing a little bit more research about different courses that I can do over here prior to start working. Um, the other mistake, or I would say, the learning that I had was I presumed that I was a good optometrist. Again, coming back to that. But once you come into the field, you have optometrists that are very, very skilled, and they are very, very knowledgeable as well, because the GOC has laid down certain standards of practice. So I went with that presumption. And once you start working, when you're experienced, a little bit experienced, it's hard for you to go back to your books, So I had to go back to my books and kind of relearn a lot of concepts that I thought that I was right, but maybe it was my understanding that I had to kind of fill the gaps in strengthening my concepts. So that is something that I had to break down and then assimilate myself again to kind of because you become a complete kind of optometrist here. You kind of you have to manage the patient independently.
Hmm.
So your communication skills, your soft skills, the way you test, the way you kind of counsel, like breaking bad news and stuff like that, you become a little bit more responsible for the patient. You treat them as your own family member. And also from start to finish, you have to manage the patient. Be it referring them or managing them yourself or giving them some kind of treatment. So that is something that is initially it sounded very easy, but once you do it in practice, once you see a patient which is having side effects of the medication that you've given, how to manage that. So obviously there's a clinical management guidelines also that we need to follow here. So on the College of Optometrists website, we have access to the clinical management guide. So you need to so we have to follow certain protocol whenever a patient is coming to you with a certain condition. And that protocol, it takes time to learn that because in India, we kind of go for like a clinical assumption, or we say it is a clinical acumen that, okay, this is the right thing to do. But according to the clinical management guidelines, that is the best thing to do. So you have to I took time to differentiate that as well. So maybe I thought that this was the right thing to do, but the clinical management guidelines said no, this is the best thing to do for the patient. So I was like, oh, yes, I need to do this, not this. So that's why the pre-registration was kind of a learning experience for me as well. So how to, give the best to the patient.
Perfect. So like the
Yeah.
major input would be that assume nothing. Like say
Yes.
the best
Yes.
or I know this stuff I have done in my college.
Yes.
Now it's easy for me. It's not like that. System
Yes. Yes.
pattern is very different for the different country.
Yes.
Perfect.
Yes. The system is different. Yeah.
Yeah. So, like after knowing all the process, going through different stages of application, pursuing masters, application for GOC and all, and overcoming the challenges which we discussed recently. So, how is the life as an optometrist in UK? Like after circumstances all the obstacles, like how's the work-life balance, how's the salary, and how's the lifestyle in UK?
Yeah. So if you come through the proper route, your work experience becomes a bit better. So you know that you need to renew your visa,
Yes.
and you once you come into the correct route, you're able to renew it as a skilled worker. So that brings you at par with all the optometrists that are there. So yeah, like I mentioned about the band, so that
Yeah.
band is the reason why you get that skilled worker visa. So you don't want to go in a lower band
Hmm.
just because you made a decision beforehand to come directly or take some shortcuts. So this is the reason why you need to understand that your image is very important.
Hmm.
And depending on that, when you come into the job life, your experience also matters. So the experience that you got from your own country or from your home country does count in when you are looking for a job or like a full-fledged optometry role. And the work-life balance is good, obviously, because I am staying alone. So I have to take care of everything as well. So obviously, the work-life balance in India was better. But
Yeah.
you get some rewards as well.
Hmm.
I was constantly updating my clinical skills, and because the practice is regulated here, you are able to update or give licensing exams further into what you want to do. Like I mentioned, you can do it in the masters. You can still do it while you're working as well. So that
Perfect.
is something that yes, and once you do that, again, your income will increase once you do that because it gets attached to your profile.
Hmm. Perfect.
In terms of salary, I would say, so I can give you a ballpark figure because optometrists come from many different, backgrounds over here. Some are into teaching, some are managing jobs, some are working in clinical practice, some are working in hospitals. So depending on your job role and the hours that you work, your salary is going to differ.
Hmm.
So anything between 30 to 60K pounds a month is a year is something that you can expect
Okay.
when you are working here. Obviously, it depends on your job role. It depends on the hours that you're working and depends on what kind of setting that you're working in as well.
Okay.
Because job roles are, varied job roles. You can go into different, fields as well in within the optometry.
Perfect. So overall, the work-life balance is great. Lifestyle would be definitely much better. And I
Yeah.
assume salary which you mentioned has been a good if we convert that amount into Indian rupee. So
Yeah, but
yeah,
you also be spending.
yeah, we go in the accommodation
Because
and the uh,
yeah, you're
uh
also spending more because obviously things
hmm,
are more expensive here.
hmm,
So you're not spending like you would spend in India because in India things are slightly more cost effective as
hmm,
well.
as well.
So it's a lot of people when they come in here they have something called as sticker shock syndrome. So
Okay.
they look at a sticker and they get shocked. Oh my God, this is the price of, this is the price. Oh my God. And then we start converting in India. I'm like, oh my God, I'm paying so much. So that's the mindset that you kind of advise. And obviously, when we are in India, we kind of convert everything and say, oh, there's so much money. But then once you start spending here, you realize that it's actually sufficient, but it's not like, beyond because obviously you have to work towards getting more and more income. And so that's also a driving force for you. As you start, gaining more, your income will increase.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And how about the future? Like maybe, for example, talking with you, like will you be
Yeah.
practicing over there for the rest of the life? Like for example, or do you have any, chances of coming back to India and, doing something else? Like how about the future in UK?
So, so right now I'm in a phase where I am actually talking to a lot of people who are in experienced roles as well,
Hmm.
like how their journey has been. So,
Hmm.
fortunately, because I've spent time here, I now have a certain, idea of what people have gone into, and if I find that interesting, I will go into, that part of it. So you can, so either you can go into the business side. So you can, every practice has a clinical director and a store director. So the
Okay.
clinical director looks at all the clinical aspects of it, the instruments that you have, the different specialties that your practice will have, and then the store director will look at the more business part of it, how to manage the employees, and how to mark up your pricing and stuff like that. And so this is the two parts, and then you can go into the hospital setting as well, where you can become a specialist optometrist in a specialist clinic. So that is more like if you're into the clinical aspect of it. So a lot of optometrists nowadays here are giving intravitreal injections, are doing YAG laser capsulotomy and peripheral iridotomy and selective laser trabeculoplasty. So these are the different kind of procedures that specialist optometrists in hospital settings are doing. So that is their kind of driving force. A lot of people, while working, they're also part of MNCs, multinational companies like CooperVision, Alcon, and they provide training to different students or different optometrists in terms of contact lenses or myopia management and stuff like that. So if teaching or training is your forte, then you can go into that field as
Got
well.
it.
So
Yeah.
yeah, it's similar to what you have in India. It's just the setting is different and the way to go
Yeah.
for it is slightly different. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, this makes sense. Like maybe you can specialize in your clinical practice and do some,
Yeah.
extraordinary things.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
maybe you
That's the
can,
short-term goal for me. Yeah.
yeah, okay, that's great actually. And I'm
Yeah.
sure that many of the young optometrists would have this as an inspiration point that, maybe they can pursue their career in UK. So, like, do you have any sets of advice, especially for the fresh graduate, or maybe they are into internship now, right now? Like any sets of advice for them?
Yeah, so coming back to the one thing that I am passionate about, so clinical skills is
Clinical
something
skill.
that you need to work on,
Yeah.
because the GOC will analyze you as you are, so as you as a
Hmm.
person,
Yeah.
and whatever settings you worked in India, be it hospital, be it opticians, you need to have good amount of clinical skills, and that will enhance your knowledge of also how to manage the patient. So not only during the GOC process, even in real life, because you are working as an independent optometrist here, you will have that kind of skill set and knowledge of how to manage the patient if you have honed your skills and if you've practiced enough, so practice will make you, it will not make you perfect, but it will make you very close to the standards of practice that we have over here. So I would say clinical skills is the number one thing that you should work on. The
Hmm.
second thing I would say for young freshers is start working on your soft skills and speaking skills,
Hmm.
because that is something that is ignored in when we are learning about, optometry and stuff like that. So simple things like showing empathy, speaking fluently and clearly, behaving like you understand the patient problems, and how to give your advice so that they follow your advice. So that is something that I have started working on as well quite recently, which has improved my patient satisfaction and my patient outcomes as well. So soft skills are a big chunk of your real life practice that you do, because different patients have different sensitivity to what you say. You can't just say anything what comes to your mind. You have to think about how you want to address yourself. And also it helps you in a professional life as well, because once you start, training, doing different courses, it helps your teaching skills as well.
Hmm.
Yeah. So these are the two things that immediately come to my mind when the third thing I would say for people who come here is um, financially, you have to be a little bit more a good manager of your finances, because it's very easy to spend a lot of money here. You have to kind of manage your finances very well. And that is also something that we are not really taught.
Hmm.
That is something that you have to kind of learn, because once you start earning more, it's very easy for you to spend more.
Spend more, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So that is something that I would advise young, graduates. These are three things that I would say. Once you kind of focus on these three things, I think you're good to go.
And it's not specific to UK. It's a general thing. It's important all over the life. Like maybe if you're
Yeah, yeah,
practicing in
definitely.
India, you should be strong
Yeah,
clinically. Soft skills are important because of the competitive
yeah,
market and finance
yeah.
plays, right?
Yes,
So yeah, that's a very
yes,
insightful.
definitely.
Correct. And I guess like we have briefly covered all the, important points. And maybe we
Yeah.
can go to the little fun part of this, video. Like I'll be asking
Okay.
some, questions and can have some great laughter.
Yeah.
So like
Okay, good.
I was thinking that when you shifted to UK, like there must be some funny things happened with you, maybe in clinical
Mm-hmm.
settings or throughout the process. So do we have any
Mm-hmm.
funny incident like which you feel that ये क्या कर दिया मैंने, like maybe a Indian you might have done any such situation?
Um, yeah. So this is not regarding optometry, but
Yeah,
this is regarding your accommodation. So the place that you stay, right? Um, um, the one thing that I had, in India, you have these rentals. So you
yeah.
stay in a place which is a rental accommodation. And one thing that people do here is when they go into a rental accommodation, they take pictures of all
Hmm.
the, different rooms and, the different places that you have. And this helps because once you come out of that accommodation or rental, they look at, the place, and they kind of inspect you. And if even there are scratches here or somewhere like that, they cut it off, your deposit that you've given.
Yeah.
So that is something that I had never experienced in India. In
Because
India, yeah, you don't see your landlord or whoever it is that you're renting out from.
yes,
And the other thing I would say, food. Oh my God. The one thing I miss about India is the food in India. The street food in India is, I think, I've been to a few countries,
yeah,
but the street food in India is unmatched. There's no comparison.
yeah.
Uh, so that is one thing that is really something that I struggled with initially, but I had to cook it myself. Even like things like chaat and stuff like that, I had to make it myself to actually, satisfy my urge.
Cravings.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You won't get it. You even if you get it, you won't get that same state taste, because they
Yeah.
kind of cater the taste to they mellow
Hmm.
it down, the spiciness and the
Yeah.
tanginess. They mellow it down for the public here.
So that was really a very insightful discussion with you, sir. Thank you. Thank you so much for taking out the time and sharing those important lessons and being the
Yeah,
mentor. Because as you correctly said that you didn't have any mentor. So thanks for
yeah,
being mentors to many of the young students who are planning to, start their career in UK. So thank you so much for your
yeah.
time, sir.
Yeah, and I would take this opportunity to thank you. I think you're one of the few people who is doing so much at such a young age. You have your own practice. You are very, very good at networking. Your social media presence, the way you come across, and even while communicating with you, I didn't feel like, I was communicating with someone else. Obviously, because we met
Yeah.
before as well. And I have seen your journey as well, and you give so much to the optometry profession. I think a lot of senior people would be envious of you, of how much love you have for the profession. And it is my honor to kind of, be part of your channel, and be part of, your podcast. I feel like, I feel so happy when I'm seeing you, doing the things that you do. So yeah, thank you so much for that.
Thank you so much for the kind words. This really makes my day now. So
Yeah, you deserve it. Yeah.
thank you so much, sir.